think we're just about ready to get started here. So, my name is Charlie, and I'll be talking about install variations. So, this is actually a pretty quick topic. It's not. It's all about how to set up your test. There's certain conditions you're going to want to set up in your test cases that you need to hit for every milestone, every pass you do. So those are going to be different ways to install the service pack and different things to install the service pack on. So real quick, what I'm going to be going over is the different types of update installs, integrated installs, and then upgrade installs. So update installs are like the standalone install. So you have an already installed version of the operating system on a system, and you want to upgrade that to, or update it to the next level up of the service pack. So say you already have SP1 on there, you want to install SP2, whatever you're on RTM, you want to go to SP5. That's an update install. An integrated installation is if you have a version of the operating system that has had the service pack files already included on it, so that when you install that installation clean on a system, you're getting both the original operating system files plus the new service pack files. And an upgrade install is using that integrated media, taking it from a previous, like a down-level version of the OS, and upgrading it up to the new version of the OS plus the service pack. So if you had NT4, and then you're upgrading it to, say, Windows 2000 SP5, that's an upgrade install. So there's a few different types of update installations. Probably the most common in our test environments is the full cab or CD installation. So the full cab installation is it's a self-extracting executable that contains all of the installer binaries and all of the payload binaries. This is what we will, if you come to Microsoft and you want to get or call up and you want to get a CD shipped to you, that's what it's going to have. The CD is just going to be some documentation and this full cab installation. If you go to the web and you select the choice that allows you, there's a few different options there for downloading the service pack, and one of them is, choose this one if you want to install it on multiple systems. That's going to be the full cab installation. So that way that works is you take it, you run it, it extracts all the files to a drive on your system that's preferably not the system drive, expands everything out, and then it runs update.exe, which is what actually installs everything on your system. So it just uses that staging directory, installs everything, cleans up that staging directory. The difference between a full cab and some other files or other methods is that a full cab installation creates a cache on the system, this Windows Service Pack Files folder that contains all of the service pack files that you may need at a later point in installation or in the life cycle of the operating system. So say you have a clean operating system on there, you install this full cab via the full cab method to service pack, and then you install IIS or something like that. It's going to end up pulling the files, at least service pack files, from this cache location instead of prompting you for some sort of CD or something like that. Probably the most common scenario that we see so the full cab is going to be like our big corporate deployment method a lot of the times. The express or patch install is the more home user type installation method. And it's pretty similar to the full cab in the end result. You actually end up with exactly the same situation after you've installed, but the method of getting there is really different. The express installation just has, if you you still end up downloading a package from, say, Windows Update or something. This is actually the Windows Update thing. Same with hotfixes these days. But it'll download just the installer binaries and a manifest of the files that it needs to have in order to get the service pack on the system. It still extracts it out to its drive on the system, but this time instead of having all of the other payload binaries with it, it will go out onto the system and look around and see, do I already have some of those payload binaries on the system that were installed via some hotfix or some other method? And if I do, I'm going to grab them and populate from there. If it doesn't have it, it's going to go to a server at Microsoft and download it. And actually, it doesn't even have to download the entire file. You can just download portions of the file that are the deltas between the files it has on the system and the file it wants to get. and then it can apply that delta to the target file and populate itself up the entire full cab structure, and then it'll continue on with the installation. At that point, it's exactly the same as a full cab installation. And then there's update.msi. So when you take the full cab installation and it extracts itself out to that temporary location, you can actually manually extract stuff out using a /x switch. And that'll kind of mimic that same behavior, extracts everything out, and it can run update manually. Update.msi takes that, you can take that extracted share. Update.msi is actually, it's also in the update folder right next to update.exe. And if you share out that directory, then you can then trigger a domain deployment of the service pack by using update.msi. It's just a wrapper, actually, for update.exe. So you go and you publish out, or assign out the package, actually. And then the next time anybody on your domain reboots their system, the service pack gets automatically deployed there. The biggest difference between update.msi and the last couple of methods I just talked about are that, there's no service pack files folder. So if anybody needs to then get, files later on, say they've installed that optional component, then instead of going to that local cache, it'll go to the place that it actually been installed from. So in an update.msi example, it would be some share on the domain. An integrated installation, like I said, it's the combination of a service pack and the original OS media. And there are some differences between a clean integrated installation and an installation via having a couple of the update methods. There's blanking out, sorry. Because it's a clean installation, there's going to be some cases where there's settings that we can modify previously, we can modify before they ever get installed. So there's files that are going to be on the system in an update installation that aren't in an integrated installation. There's registry settings that are going to be in an integrated installation that aren't going to be in an updated installation. They're pretty minimal, but the biggest idea is that an integrated installation and an updated installation are going to be functionally equivalent at the end of the installation, if not exactly identical. So there's different types of Windows 2000. Different SKUs, call them. There's professional, which is your regular workstation SKU, and then there's different server SKUs. Server is the most basic one. Windows powered is kind of the next step up. It's usually on kind of web server appliance things. It's a pared down version of advanced server. Then there's advanced server, and then there's data center, which is the biggest of them all. There's only a few, not that many people have data center. There's differences between all these different SKUs, and there's differences in the types of files they have, the types of optional components they can have. There's some differences in just even how you can apply fixes. So for example, on data center, you can't directly deploy a service pack on top of it because the idea behind data center is that the big OEMs, so like Compaq or something, has their data center on a specific set of hardware, and when you buy a data center, you're buying the whole package deal, including support. And if you want a service pack, then they'll come over and they'll install that service pack for you. So there's a registry key that you have to enable to be able to install a service pack on top of data center. And because there's all these different differences, you need to be doing tests on each SKU. And that really gets to the core of why I'm even talking about these install variations. It's just that because we have different files and different registry settings on the different SKUs, we have different methods of getting to the end result of having the service pack on the system, we need to be sure just to hit each one of those when you're doing your regular testing. This isn't a matter of doing some extra step in your testing. It's just while you're doing your regular tests, when you're getting to that point where you're doing your test, if you throw in, you need to be able to throw in, some of these different variations here. So say one day you do the test and it's update.msi on professional, another day you do it, it's the full cab on server. Whenever that's applicable, that's what you want to be doing, just so you get that coverage. Because there are cases where, like I said, if you're always doing your tests, say on professional, and you're always installing on professional via the full cab method, then there could be some file that only gets updated if you install the full cab on server that throws your results off. So you want to be spreading that out. And in the same way, if your component exists on a down-level OS, and it's possible to go from that down-level OS and upgrade to the current OS that you're testing, and have your component still be configured or something like that, then you're going to have to test that method also, because that can have its own set of issues. If everything's configured and then you're upgrading, did the upgrade keep all your settings correctly? Did it introduce some new behaviors or some new security setting that maybe blocks off old functionality? So, and again, in the same way that there's some differences between an integrated installation and an updated installation, there's going to be some differences between an upgraded installation and a regular integrated installation, because there's those things on the system prior to upgrading. That's pretty much it. The idea is just that you want to be using different types of installations. Like I said, with your components, you want to be trying out all the different applicable SKUs. You might have a component that is just, say, a server component, so you don't necessarily need to test on Pro because you don't have anything to test on Pro. You want to be trying all the different types of update methods, and I think that for most of the test cases, the idea is that you want to be doing it just on each SKU and an update method. Would hit all the different combinations once per milestone. And then, like I said, if your component is present on a previous OS, then you want to do the upgrade method also. I know I just skimmed through a whole bunch of stuff, so if you guys have any questions at all, let me know. Anything? Nope. Okay. Yeah. So just to reiterate, it's just, there's no special tools out there to test install variations. It's just setting up your environment in the right way when you run your other tests. So if that's it, I guess that's it.